Hello everyone, so today we'll be reviewing a mod called the Dungeons mod. Now this mod is in a very early stage of development, but is still providing so much content already, so I have to review it. The newest version 1.16.2 has just been updated so that all the mobs from 1.12.2 has been ported to 1.16.2. I believe that it is also ported to 1.15.2, but I'm not too sure. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see, I'm using command blocks to summon these creatures because they don't have spawnix yet, and some creatures cannot be summoned even, so I'll talk about that later on. So the first mob we have is, let me turn to creative mode first, is the Anthemites. Now I'll spawn a bunch of these guys because they are quite harmless. Actually they're hostile, but they don't do a lot of damage. So I'll turn to survival mode so that you guys can see. Now these guys are really fast, but luckily for you, they don't do a lot of damage. The most they can do is set you on fire for, I think, half a second. So keep in mind that I'm wearing netherite armor, so they can't really do much to me. Alright, so next up we have the guard. Now this guy spawns with a boss mob, which I will talk about later on. These guys are quite strong if you don't have much defense, so be careful when you're fighting these guys. Now most of the mobs in this mod doesn't drop any items, but there are some specific items added into the game. Alright, so next up we have the Mimik. Now the Mimik in this mod has a quite smooth animation which I really like. He bounces around as the lid is closed and opened. But again, they don't drop anything, so I hope they will add something in the future. Next up we have the Piranhas. Now I have to turn to creative mode first, otherwise they will die before we can see them. So you can see that they have quite awesome animations and textures. Like, I'm quite surprised that they can pull this off. Alright, so I'll turn to survival mode so you guys can see how they will react when they see a player. So as you can see, they'll stick on you when they notice you. So what you can do is you swim up and they'll just die. Interesting. Right, so next up we have the Rogue. Now the Rogue looks like a hostile mob, but he actually is passive and runs away when he sees you. At least mostly he runs away. When you hit them, they don't even do anything, but mostly they will walk away when they see you, just like this. Alright, so next up we have the Scientists. Now the Scientists, in the lore, it says that they are evolved from normal villagers, which means you can find these guys in normal villages. I think maybe when you go to villages you can find laboratories where you can find these guys. But for now, when you spawn them or when you summon them, they don't do anything. They have half a heart, which, yeah, quite strange. Alright, so next up we have the Slime Wolf. Now, I'm quite sure that this one is a work in progress like the Scientists, so yeah. Maybe we can look forward to what this will be. Alright, so next up we have the Slimmit. Now, don't get fooled by its appearance. This guy has 250 health and he hits like a truck. I have full netherite armor and he just shredded my health bar like it's nothing. So yeah, I'll see you when I defeat this guy. Of course in creative, because there's no way I can beat it in survival. Alright, so last but not least we have the Traveler. Now the Traveler cannot be summoned, he cannot be spawned, which is quite confusing because I cannot find it at first. But after I read about it in the CurseForge page, I realized you actually have to spawn him in with a ritual, which I'll demonstrate here. Now what you need is a block of coal and flint and steel. Now the rest, it will be useful later on, I'll show you. So what you do is you place down the block of coal and you light it up with a flint and steel. And a villager will emerge from it, and normally it will drop a book, but I think he threw it somewhere that is burned. If he does give you a book, the book will, oh, there we are. So the book will give you hints on how to beat the bosses, and how you locate the bosses is you have to trade with this guy for the maps. So for example, if I trade with this guy for the house, you'll get the map to the house. Alright, so I turned off fire spreading, so he should be fine now. Now, when you buy a map, he'll usually drop a book to tell you how to beat the bosses in the next map. Now for the house, I don't know what that is, but I'll look for it later on. But if you trade with him enough, he'll level up. And what this is, I'll tell you later on. After he levels up, he'll drop another book, which will give you hints on how to beat the next mob. Now I think this guy is really cool. It's one of the best thing in this mod, which is the traveler questing system. I think it's really cool. Another thing that is cool is the bosses. Now those bosses will seem like they're overpowered if you don't know how to beat them. But once you know how to beat them, it's actually quite interesting. And it's quite rewarding also. So now I'll move on to the items first, and then I'll show you a sneak peek of what those bosses will look like and how it will be like if you fight them. Alright, so there are 3 items in total added into the game. There's the home gem, which can be craftable, like so. It will teleport you to your spawn point. So, for example, if you spawn in a random location, you will spawn there. If you have a bed and slept on it, then it will teleport you to the bed. Alright, so next up we have the back Perk mine, which can be bought from this guy. What it can do is it will teleport you back to the last death point. So for example, if I kill myself here, and if I grab this one, I'll be able to teleport back to here. Quite convenient. So if you have a bunch of these at home, it'll be good when you're traveling. Alright, so next up we have the Sun Overdrive. So basically, you just need to right click and you need to charge it down as you see the meter. When it goes to the bottom, it will turn to 12 hours later. So yeah, of course you can use a command, but I think if you don't want to cheat, this guy is quite handy. Alright, so that was all the items. Now, all the items, this one is obtained from the boss, I think. And I will give you a sneak peek of what the bosses will look like now. Alright guys, so that was the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos like this in the future. Okay, thank you, goodbye.